Ever feel like you're stuck on mute while everyone else is out there just, confidently speaking English?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, today we are diving deep into Become a Confident English Speaker, a guide that is absolutely packed with strategies to help you unleash that inner polyglot. And the best part, it doesn't matter your current level.
It's funny. What I find so fascinating about this guide is how it manages to take something as specific as language learning and connect it to something so universal communication. It's a skill, really, that touches pretty much every aspect of our lives.
Isn't that the truth? And we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
Like, picture yourself walking into a business meeting, or even something as simple as ordering food in a crowded restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
Suddenly you got that knot in your stomach, that little voice whispering, what if I mess up?
Yeah.
It can be completely paralyzing.
Absolutely. And the guide actually puts a name to this language anxiety, which honestly is way more common than people realize. It boils down to that fear of making mistakes, of being judged. And it makes perfect sense when you think about it. We're social creatures by nature, so even the thought of rejection can trigger this really intense, almost visceral reaction.
Oh, tell me about it.
Mm.
I still remember this one time I was trying to impress a date. Thought it'd be all suave, ordering the fanciest thing I could manage to pronounce off this Italian menu. Let's just say Google Translate. And I had very different ideas about what calf brain meant.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not my smoothest move.
It's all right. We've all had those moments. But it's interesting because that brings us to one of the most powerful takeaways from Become a Confident English Speaker, starting small.
You mean like instead of, say, prepping for a TED Talk in English, maybe aim for a quick chat with a friend first?
Exactly. It's about setting those micro goals, not piling on the mega pressure right away. The guide really emphasizes the power of small victories, like chatting with friends online or joining a casual language exchange, those kinds of things. These little interactions, they create a snowball effect, building momentum and boosting your confidence along the way.
It's like those yes, I did it moments, except instead of a marathon, it's celebrating ordering your coffee in English without a hitch.
Precisely. And those little wins all tie into what Become a Confident English Speaker refers to as building a positive mindset. And this isn't just about, thinking happy thoughts. It's about actively choosing to focus on your progress, even the tiny steps, which can be incredibly powerful because it shifts your perspective. Instead of dwelling on what you can't do yet, you're celebrating what you can do, and that can be a game changer.
I love that. So it's less about chasing this idea of perfection and more about celebrating those small victories along the way.
Right. And that actually connects to another really crucial point. The guide stresses resilience. You can actually think of it like a muscle. The more you push yourself, the more you stumble, make those mistakes, and allow yourself to get back up again, the stronger that resilience muscle becomes. You're essentially training yourself to not just cope with setbacks, but to actually bounce back from them, which is invaluable, not just in language learning, but in life, period.
So what you're saying is making mistakes,
Yeah.
it's not just part of the process, it's actually essential to building the confidence we're aiming for.
Absolutely. And speaking of building confidence, one of the more practical exercises the guide suggests is role playing.
Role-playing. Wait, like actually pretending to order food or ask for directions, but in English.
You got it. And I know it might sound a little silly at first, but it really works, and on a couple of different levels too. Firstly, it helps you get comfortable with the sound of yourself speaking English.
That's like breaking the ice in your own mind, in a way.
Exactly. And second, it taps into something called muscle memory. Remember what it was like learning to ride a bike?
Oh, yeah.
Even after years, your body remembers those motions, right?
Right.
Role playing does the same thing for your language skills. It's like embedding those phrases, those responses, so they come more naturally in real life conversations.
So it's like practice for both your brain and your mouth. That's actually really clever.
Right. And speaking of practice, the guide also highlights another technique called shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, now I'm picturing like following someone discreetly.
Yeah.
Is this language learning or a spy thriller?
Think of it more like you're becoming a vocal ninja. Basically, you listen to native speakers, could be podcasts, audiobooks, anything really, and you try your best to match their rhythm, their intonation, even their pauses.
So it's not just about the what you're saying, but the how.
Exactly. Because fluency, it's not just about speed, it's about sounding natural, about being able to convey your message with the right tone, the right emphasis, all those subtle things that make communication feel authentic.
And one of the things I found really inspiring about this guide is how it features stories from people who actually overcame their fear of speaking English. One in particular that stood out was this person who went from being absolutely terrified to speak up at work to leading meetings in English.
Oh, wow.
It's really amazing what a little confidence can do, isn't it?
It truly is. And honestly, I think that's the biggest takeaway from become a confident English speaker. It's not about having some kind of innate talent or even achieving this unrealistic idea of perfection. It's about making that conscious decision to improve and putting in the work consistently, one step at a time.
It's about having that self-assurance, that belief in yourself, which ultimately allows you to express your thoughts and ideas without being held back by fear. So with that in mind, I want to ask our listeners, what's one small step you can take today to boost your own English confidence? Could be as simple as trying out one of the techniques we talked about, or maybe setting a small, achievable goal. Remember, even the tiniest action can spark incredible change.